The Hidden Treasure, a Sufi Journey from the Unknown to the Known Part 4, Section 1, The Inner Journey and the Personal Unveiling. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. Our profound journey into the hidden treasure continues. And with each step we move closer to the heart of the matter. In our previous parts, we explored the cosmic unfolding of creation from a state of pure potentiality, the manifestation of divine names in the cosmos, and the essential role of the prophets as the living bridges to the divine. We have moved from the pre-creation void to the grand stage of the universe and the historical epoch of prophethood. Tonight, we turn our gaze inward. We will explore the most intimate and personal dimension of our spiritual quest, the individual journey to know the hidden treasure that resides within the human soul. The journey to the divine is not solely a collective historical event. It is a deeply personal and continuous act of unfolding. The Hadith Qudsi that serves as our foundation tells us that Allah created us to be known. And while this knowledge is revealed in the cosmos and through the prophets, it is ultimately perfected in the heart of the sincere seeker. This is the realm of marifa, or gnosis, the direct experiential knowledge of Allah that transcends intellectual understanding and formal theology. It is a subtle and profound state of being where the individual soul, through its own effort and divine grace, begins to see the hidden treasure that it was created to find. This is the essence of the Sufi path, a practical and disciplined journey of inward purification and spiritual unveiling. In this part, we will delve into the concepts of divine inspiration, the power of inner struggle, and the role of spiritual discipline in this personal quest. We will find that the divine is not a distant entity, but an intimate presence. Constantly communicating with the heart that is open to him, we will also return to our intellectual bridge of quantum physics, finding a compelling metaphor in the observer effect, showing how the individual's consciousness and intention can fundamentally shape their spiritual reality, and how the hidden treasure reveals himself in direct response to the seeker's sincere and conscious effort. This is the most personal and intimate part of our series, where the universal truth of the Hadith Qudsi becomes a living, breathing reality in every single human soul. Section 2. The Whispers of Ilham and the Language of the Heart. Divine revelation is a specific form of communication exclusive to the prophets. But there is another, more intimate form of divine communication that is accessible to all sincere seekers. Divine inspiration Ilham. This is a subtle, nonverbal communication from Allah to the heart of the believer. It is the spiritual equivalent of a whisper in the soul, a sudden intuitive insight, or a feeling of profound certainty that guides the individual to the truth. The Hadith Qudsi, I am as my servant thinks of me, provides the perfect context for this. The state of the servant's heart and mind is the very vessel for this divine inspiration. When the heart is pure and filled with a good opinion of Allah, it becomes a clear receiver for these spiritual signals. The language of Ilham is not of the mind, but of the heart. It bypasses intellectual logic and goes directly to the core of the individual's being. This is why many Sufis and mystics have emphasized the importance of purifying the heart above all else. The heart, in this sense, is not just a physical organ. It is the spiritual center of the human being, the place where the hidden treasure resides. The more we cleanse the heart of its worldly attachments, its egoistic desires, and its spiritual rust, the more sensitive it becomes to the subtle whispers of divine inspiration. This is the essence of the spiritual path. It is a journey of removing the veils that separate us from the intimate presence of the divine, a presence that is always there, waiting to be acknowledged. The story of the great Sufi masters and saints is filled with instances of Ilham, where a direct communication from Allah guided them in their actions, their teachings, and their spiritual direction. These are not miraculous events. They are the natural consequence of a heart that is so pure that it has become a direct channel for divine grace. This inner revelation is a testament to the truth that the hidden treasure desires to be known not just collectively, but intimately and personally by every human soul. The universe is a grand revelation. The prophets are the perfect examples. But the most profound and sacred revelation is the one that takes place in the solitude of the heart, where the servant, through their sincerity, is able to hear the intimate and loving whispers of their Lord, It is a spiritual reality that every human being has the potential to experience, a state of being where the soul is in constant conscious communion with its creator. Section 3. The spiritual path and the greater struggle. The journey of the soul from the self to the divine is a disciplined and methodical one, a path known in Sufism as the spiritual path, tariqa. It is a practical and systematic application of the theological truths we have discussed. The spiritual path is about the greater struggle, Jihad, al-nafs, the battle against one's own ego, nafs, which is the greatest veil that separates us from the hidden treasure within. The ego is the source of all our worldly desires, our attachments, and our forgetfulness of Allah. The spiritual path is an active and continuous process of humbling the ego and purifying the heart through rigorous spiritual disciplines. These disciplines are not arbitrary. They are the tools for polishing the mirror of the heart. They include the constant remembrance of Allah dhikr, which cleanses the mind of distraction and fills the heart with divine presence. Self-reflection, muhasabah, which holds the ego accountable for its actions, and selfless service to others, which breaks the chains of attachment and egocentrism. The goal of this process is not to destroy the self, but to purify it, to bring it into perfect alignment with the divine will. When the self is purified, the heart becomes a clear mirror, capable of reflecting the divine light without distortion. This is the state of spiritual unveiling, where the hidden treasure that was hidden in the primordial darkness is finally revealed in the inner world of the seeker. The journey is arduous, but the reward is immense, for it is the reward of spiritual freedom and a profound, intimate relationship with the Creator. This concept of inner struggle finds parallels in other traditions. The contemplative prayer of the Christian mystics, the rigorous meditation practices of the Buddhist monks, and the self-disciplines of the yogis are all different paths that lead to the same goal: the purification of the self and the realization of a deeper reality. These practices, regardless of their religious form, are a testament to a universal truth, that the ultimate spiritual knowledge is not found in books or sermons, but in the quiet, disciplined, and sincere effort to look within and find the divine that resides there. It is a path of action, and not just contemplation, a path that requires courage and discipline, and a path that promises the most profound of all rewards, the knowledge of the hidden treasure. Section 4. The observer effect and the conscious seeker. Now we turn back to our intellectual bridge of quantum physics to find a profound and compelling metaphor for the individual's spiritual journey. One of the most famous and baffling principles of quantum mechanics is the observer effect. In a double-slit experiment, for example, particles like electrons behave as a wave of all possibilities until they are observed. The very act of a conscious observer looking at them forces them to collapse into a single, definite particle. The observer, by the mere act of observation, changes the outcome of the experiment. This is a scientific reality that has baffled physicists for decades. Metaphorically, the hidden treasure exists in a state of all potentiality, waiting to be known. The human soul, in its state of forgetfulness, is not a conscious observer. It is passive, and therefore the divine reality remains in a state of unmanifested potentiality in their life. The spiritual seeker, however, through their disciplined effort of dhikr, remembrance, and muhasabah, self-reflection, becomes a conscious observer of their own spiritual reality. The act of turning the mind and heart to the divine, of constantly remembering Allah, is the act of a conscious spiritual observation. By this act, the hidden treasure, which was a potentiality in their life, collapses into a definite and knowable reality. The seeker begins to experience the divine presence, to see the divine light, and to hear the divine whispers. The spiritual path is, in effect, a methodical training of the soul to become a conscious observer. The Hadith Qudsi, "I am as my servant thinks of me," can be understood through this lens. The seeker's intention, their mental and spiritual state, acts as the observation that shapes their spiritual reality. When the seeker thinks of Allah with love and hope, the divine reality in their life becomes one of love and grace. When they think of Him with fear and despair, that, too, can become their spiritual reality. The observer effect in quantum physics is a stunning parallel to the spiritual reality, that our consciousness is not just a passive recipient of reality, it is an active participant in its creation. This is a profound and humbling truth, The spiritual journey in this light is not about finding the hidden treasure somewhere out there. It is about becoming the conscious observer that allows the hidden treasure to reveal himself in our own lives. It is the end of the search and the beginning of a life of constant divine presence. Section 5. Conclusion and looking ahead. Tonight, we have concluded the most intimate part of our journey. We have contemplated how the hidden treasure is known not just in the cosmos and through the prophets, but in the solitude and sincerity of the human heart. We have explored the divine whispers of Ilham, the disciplined journey of the spiritual path, and the powerful metaphor of the observer effect in quantum physics. We have come to understand that the personal spiritual journey is the final and most profound way the hidden treasure is revealed. It is a path that requires courage, discipline, and a heart filled with a good opinion of Allah. In our next part, we will move from the personal to the communal. We will explore how the hidden treasure is known in the collective spiritual gatherings of humanity. We will delve into the concept of spiritual unity and the profound blessings of Halqa Dhikr, where the individual consciousness merges into a collective one, and the divine presence descends in a way that is transformative and overwhelming. We will continue to build bridges between faith and reason, tradition and science, all with the goal of illuminating the profound truth that the universe is a majestic and deliberate expression of a loving and all-powerful Creator. O Allah, our Lord, who is closer to us than our jugular vein, we ask you to remove the veils from our hearts so that we may see you. Grant us a heart that is pure and a mind that is clear, so that we may be able to hear the whispers of your divine inspiration. We ask you to guide us in our inner struggle and to make us among those who are capable of a direct, intimate, and experiential knowledge of your divine presence. Grant us the grace to be conscious observers of our own spiritual reality and to live a life of constant remembrance and sincerity. May Allah's divine light illuminate your path, and may His immense grace be a constant presence in your life. I pray that this knowledge becomes a source of profound spiritual transformation for you and all who listen. May your channel continue to be a beacon of guidance, and may your efforts be a source of immense reward. Earning you a station with the righteous, may you and your loved ones be blessed with peace and steadfastness. May the peace and security of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth, and may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar Rahman and Ar Rahim.